Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Beccy. This is my podcast where I talk about knitting and things, and when my cats scratch at my chest of drawers here. You can find me on Instagram as @BeccyKnits and on Ravelry as BeccyMundy. If this is the first time you are joining me, then thank you for clicking on my video, and if you are a returning viewer, then welcome back. I think I've got quite a bit to talk about today. Whether any of it is like, I don't know, interesting. We shall see. Yeah, first thing I'm going to tell you about, because I'll be sipping from it throughout the episode, is my mug. Just how beautiful is this mug? I'm trying not to slop hot tea on myself. Just look at that. It's so pretty. And this is by a local potter, local to me, called Alex Harvey, and I will leave links to all of his things in the description box down below. I got this recently at a maker's market and I love it, and it is my Andrew do not touch my mug, because Andrew, my partner, is notorious for breaking mugs. So this is my hands off it mug. And I'd love to tell you where I got my hat with its cute little toadstool on, which I'm wearing because I gave myself a really terrible haircut. But I can't find the label anywhere, but I bought that from a local maker's market recently. So if I find that information before the video goes live, then I'll put it here or in the description box down below. Right, knitting. I have been doing quite a good amount of knitting recently. I am like really happy with my knitting at the moment. I'm just thoroughly enjoying myself knitting on whatever I want. I think I said a couple of episodes ago, it's probably my first episode of the year, I said that like I'd gotten myself into this place where I wasn't knitting because I felt guilty about the things that I wanted to knit versus the things that I thought I should be knitting. And I do this a lot with a lot of things. I like raise the stakes on something, you know, I'll set myself challenges or like give myself really like strict goals, and then when I don't meet those goals or when I don't fancy working towards those goals, then I just stop. So I have been working really hard on just letting myself work on whatever it is I want, and like that is the only knitting goal that I set myself this year, is just to work on whatever I fancy. And I can tell you it's the first time that I have gotten to March and I have still been happily working towards my goal. So it's really working for me. It does mean that I have got a lot of whips on the go, and I'm not going to show you all of them today because I'm not actively working on all of them all of the time. So that's fine. So I'm just going to kind of show you the things that I've been working on most over the last like 2 weeks. I think it's been about 2 weeks since I last spoke to you. And then I've got one thing that I'm going to show you which I started working on and then I made a mistake, but something else that I've been working on has kind of like hopefully shown me how to do this project better. So I'll show you that as well, even though it's not really had much work on it in the past few weeks. So yeah, but yeah, just a little sort of like update on my knitting goal. It's going so well. I am actually enjoying knitting and I'm not finishing very much at all. And it doesn't bother me. Like I used to very much be a product knitter, and like to the extent that I would be like really impatient to finish a project, and it meant that I would like rush something and make mistakes and then not go back and fix them, or I would skip steps like swatching and then it wouldn't fit. And so a lot of the time I ended up with, yes, a finished item, but not something that I could actually use or not something that I would actually wear. And so that's like not sensible. So I have like put all of that kind of like pressure aside, and now I think I'm like fairly comfortably a process knitter. Like, yeah, I'm happy with that. Sure, I'm not finishing stuff, but I don't care because I like to knit. So there we go. Having said that, I'm going to show you, and I'll do a little update on this every like couple of episodes. I'm not going to show you, this is my squares for my GamerCrafting blanket. I'm not going to show them like every week. I might, now that I've finished my first two, I might show you like every time I finish two, if that makes sense. So when I finish, yeah, when I finish like an installment, a month's installment, those two, then I might show them to you, or like I might not show you again until the summer or something like that. So I'm not going to show you every week, so you're not going to be seeing the same squares knit in different colours every week, unless you really want that. So here we are. Here are the first two from the GamerCrafting Blanket Club mystery skein club. I'm not sure what she's called it. So can I remember? I think this one is Pong and this one is Tetris. So yeah, and the pattern that I'm using is the Radvent Throw by Amanda Bryan. And I will obviously block these before I sew them together, but I probably will wait until I've got them all so I can try and get them roughly the same size. I'm also thinking about making like a frame to block them, so I can, because they've got holes like the yarn overs in, so I could put like a dowel through here or something to hold it out, and then I can block it. I've seen them for granny squares. So I might make something like that so that I can get them all the same size. But there's the first two, and I have received the next two colours. I put them somewhere. Yeah. And I will show you those later with like a spoiler warning. So if you've not received yours yet, then you won't be spoiled. But I imagine that most people have had theirs now, because I think I've had mine for, oh, maybe I got it on Monday. Anyway, I will throw a spoiler warning in there so that you don't get spoiled if you haven't seen yours. Okay, so on to works in progress. But first I'm going to take another sip out of my mug. Whips, I have like not organised my like table here at all, so I've just got like piles of things. It's going to be falling everywhere. Right, first thing I'm going to show you is another thing that I'm like, maybe I should just now not show this to you until I finished it, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. And that is my garter stitch blanket. I thought that I had worked on more of this since the last time I showed it to you, but having just looked at my marker, I can now see that I think I've added one colour since the last time we spoke. And I ran out of the fluffy yarn, so I had to buy more, which is fine. So I bought 3 more to do the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripes, and I used 3 to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and most of the 8th. So I think I bought 1 more than I need, but oh well. Probably should have calculated that better. Anyway, so there it is. I am still really happy with it. It's taken me a long time actually though to get that like new ball like joined on. I did that last night and now I'm just away again and I can't wait for it to be finished. I think I was kind of like off the fluffy blankets because it was starting to get a bit warmer, and then it snowed yesterday, so clearly it's still winter. And then I was reminded that like it's more likely to snow at Easter in the UK than it is to snow at Christmas. And yeah, thinking back, I can remember like at least 2 white Easters and like no white Christmases. So so I think we've still got a bit of winter to go. But yeah, so I think it'll be fine. I think I'll get plenty of use out of the blanket once it's done. Yeah, I've got to go and sit in a cold warehouse on Friday for like 4 hours, so I'm probably going to take that with me and hope that my hands can stay warm enough that I can knit on it, but I suspect I could get quite a good chunk of that knit while I'm sitting there. The next thing is living in my Doctor Who TARDIS bag from The Lonely Knitter, and it's got some like Lord of the Rings and Hobbit pins on it. So this did hold my Hobbity socks. I was making some, or well, yeah, second breakfast socks patterned by Sock Witchery. I was making some of those for Andrew and they were living in this bag, but they've moved out, even though I'm not working on them. So they've moved out and I'm working on a pair of DK socks. I think I said in my last episode that I really wanted to be working on a pair of plain socks and I didn't have any needles free for 4-ply socks, and then I discovered this yarn in my knitting drawer, which is just here. Discovered this yarn in my knitting drawer and was like, oh, why did I not think about DK socks? So I cast on a pair of DK plain socks, and these are great. These will probably also come with me to my warehouse shift on Friday. And this is the Little Spruce colourway in Soft Sock DK from a Homespun House. I bought this over Christmas. And oh, it was just after Christmas. I think I got the Homespun House Advent calendar last year, and one of the colourways in that was this one on 4-ply, and I really, really like it. So I got the DK because she didn't have a 4-ply left, but she did have the DK. So I love it, and it's not Christmassy, you know. It like the name is like wintry, but it's I don't look at it and think, oh yeah, that's just a Christmas sock. So lighting's not great. There's like blues and purples and oranges in there, and yeah, it's just really nice. So I'm working on that, and that's just my like go-to DK sock pattern, and I'll do a fish lips kiss heel on those as well. Yep. Oh, and then what else? I've also cast on my pride flag socks, the non-binary socks from the Knitting Goddess. Here they are. So I bought myself a pair of 9-inch circulars and decided that I wanted to try this again. I have tried it before and I didn't like it. I've got 2 pairs of 9-inch circulars. One is a 2.5, and that is like the gauge on that is like way too loose. And then the other one is a 2mm. But they're higher sharps, and they are like incredibly sharp, and it made my finger really, really sore. So so I kind of like gave up on it because I wasn't enjoying it, and I was having to get a good sort of speed, particularly with the really pointy tip. I was having to knit like pick up, what's that, continental. I was having to knit differently to how I knit, and it was slowing me down. So yeah, but I thought I will get a pair. These are the Addy 9-inch circulars, and I thought I will give it another go, and I'm actually enjoying it. I don't know that I'm like a total convert, but I am enjoying it. It's going fairly well. It's scratching an itch for plain socks, like 4-ply weight socks. I think that the gauge is probably still not quite right. I have seen people say that they knit looser on 9-inch circulars. So even though I normally, these are a 2.25, I think. It's not got it on. Oh yeah, 2.25. I normally work on a 2.25 because it's the 9-inch circulars. I think that has loosened my gauge, and so I think I probably do need a 2, but I don't think they had a 2 in in my local yarn shop, so I don't know. But I'm okay with a slightly looser gauge for these. I might wear them over another sock. We'll see. I've been finding that I don't know if my gauge has like tightened up a little bit anyway, because I've been finding that my socks are a little bit tighter, and it could be that my legs have gotten a bit chunkier, but I like to think it's because my gauge has tightened up. So because like older socks still fit okay. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I'm enjoying this. I like it because it's just plain knitting. It's like, it's quite quick. It feels quick. Round and round and round. And yeah, I'll be doing a fish lips kiss heel with these. I think, I assume I can do a fish lips kiss heel. I'm just thinking, yeah, I'll be able to do a fish lips kiss heel on these. So yeah, and they're like super portable as well, because the like needle is just so small. So there we go. And those are living. Oh, and the black, my nose is really itchy. So the stripes are this like long, and I wanted the cuff to be solid black, and then I wound off some yarn. I didn't think about how it was going to work, so the colour order is wrong. But anyway, I wanted a solid black cuff, heel and toe, so I just bought a a ball of West Yorkshire Spinners black signature 4-ply. So yeah, I'm sure it will come in handy for something else. So those are living in there at the moment in the woolly tangle bag. I could probably take the black skein out actually, and then it would be, because at the moment it's actually, having said, they're really portable. The project itself is not that portable if I have got that full skein in there as well. But there we go. What else to talk about? Okay, I'll quickly talk about this one. So, ooh, sorry, just knocked in there. This is the startings of a colour Craze shawl patterned by Tamy Gore, and I have made one of these before, and I decided I wanted another one because I really like it. And the yarn is from Dusty Dimples. I don't think she dyes anymore. Yeah, it's pretty, very pretty. And then the mini skeins, I've not got them here with me now, but the mini skeins for the sections of colour are going to be some mini skeins that I dyed. So yeah, I started this and I was going along really, really well with it, and I got into the brioche section and I was like really fired up for brioche, and it all went horribly wrong. I don't know whether I had like the wrong number of stitches or something was awry, but it was all offset and it looked very nice, but it wasn't brioche. So I pulled it all out and started again, which again, in the past, with my product knitter hat on, I would have just been so angry and I would never have been able to convince myself to cast on again. But now that I'm like, well, it's just knitting, and yes, I want the shawl at the end, but I want the shawl to be right and I want to enjoy knitting it, and I'm not going to enjoy knitting it, I'm fudging it the whole time. So so I just pulled it out, started again, and there we have it. So yeah, I thought I will cast it, I'll start it again and I'll give the brioche another go. I did set it aside a little bit, it just needed a little bit of, you know, time apart, but I think we might be ready to try and see if we can make it work. And so that's that one. And then the other project that I've been working on, which is the project that is like helping me feel like I might be able to get back together with my colour Craze shawl, is this one by Lavanya, Patricella. I am very sorry if I have just mangled that. Lavanya, Patricella. And this is the DK Garter Snake Cowl. Here it is. So this is yarn that I showed you a couple of episodes ago. Maybe it was last episode actually. And this was my mystery yarn from GamerCrafting. Somebody, I can't remember who it was now. If you were the person that recommended this designer to me, thank you very much. I absolutely love this. I am having so much fun knitting on this. So that's the brioche bit. So it's a big old chunk of brioche. And then you start to sort of like introduce this garter section, which I guess will be the front here. I'm so excited to wear this. I would really like it to be done by Friday so I can wear it when I'm sitting in my cold warehouse. And it might be, because I think I'm going to run out of yarn before the end of the pattern. Bizarrely, the purple seems to have gone down faster than the green. I don't know whether it's just, it just feels like that, or I don't know. But yeah, so there we go. Yeah, I think I'm going to run out before the end, but I think that will be fine. I think it will look fine. I just need to decide at some point that's going to be what happens, so that I think there's like a couple of rows of just garter stitch, plain garter stitch on the end, because there is for the cast on, you do a couple of rows of garter stitch. And then I think there's the same at the top of this. So I will have to just decide that that's what's going to happen. I think I'm okay. Like, I would be okay with the length as it is now. I'm going to go for longer. But I don't like a really, really long cowl, because then I just feel like I'm being smothered. So I might only go for a little bit longer anyway, and then cast off a bit early. But we'll see. But yeah, I feel like I've really gotten the hang of brioche. So I think if you I think if you're wanting to try some brioche and you're like nervous about like these little sections of brioche that sometimes you get in patterns, then I would say like something like this in like two very different colours is a really good way to start. It feels intimidating because there's so much of it, but you can really get the hang of it in those first, because there's so many stitches around. It's also really easy to see if you make a mistake with the two very different colours, and like by the second round or the third round maybe you'll know if you've made a mistake, and then you can, like, before you've put loads of effort in. Whereas I found with the shawl, the sections were so small anyway that by the time you'd finish the section, it was only just becoming obvious if you'd made a mistake. And then it felt like so much harder to rip out a whole section, even if it was only a couple of rows. That mental thing of like, I'm ripping out a whole section of my shawl. Whereas with this, it's like, oh, I'm just ripping out a couple of rows. So yeah, And it does make, or if you like get it right, it should make for like a reversible fabric as well. So I have made some mistakes inside, for mine is not reversible all the way through. But yeah, so that's the inside. And then that's the outside. Some of the mistakes are not as obvious as others, but there are some. So I probably could wear it inside out. But yeah, there's a couple of spaces where I've like not slipped my stitch quite right. So, but it hasn't really changed the look. The outside is all fine. So yeah, I am loving that pattern. And I mean, the brioche, the big section of brioche on the bottom definitely gets to the point where you're just like, don't have to look at the pattern. You do need to start looking at the pattern when you are adding in the garter bit, but it's not like you don't have to look at it for every stitch. It's just like, okay, right, carry on. So really like this pattern. The designer has got lots of brioche patterns, and so I'm definitely going to be knitting more from her because yeah, I love it. So hopefully maybe next week I will have like an actual proper finished object to show you. Who knows? Oh, I always make tea and then I forget to drink it and it goes cold so quickly. I have been talking for like half an hour, so. So it could be a long one if we're only at whips. But anyway, that is it for whips. So maybe now it will go a bit. Right. We're into acquisitions. So I'm going to start off with showing you the GamerCrafting yarns for the, what is the Video Game Landscape Club. Oh. What was that one then? This is Tetris. Oh, I don't know. Can't remember what the last ones were. Anyway, anywho, so yeah, if you have not received your February club for GamerCrafting Landscape Club, then look away now and I'm going to show you the yarn. So look away. So there we are. So this one is Tetris and this one is Super Mario. Okay, you can look back now. So yeah, I'm really excited to knit some more squares. I need to start thinking about what colour I want to use to join them together, and I think there's a border as well. I had got some leftover of this yarn from when I made my Shady Side t-shirt. I think it's just under 100 grams. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Maybe it is going to be enough. I have to see what the pattern says about how much of the sort of contrasting colour you need. Do we think this is the squares I've already knit, not spoilers. Do we think that would work? A grey? I think it could work. I don't want a black. Black feels like it would be too harsh. But grey, it could be grey. Grey could be fine. Okay, we'll see how much I need. But it's an option, I think. It's an option. So I got that. And that is the only yarn that I have bought that I have. I did buy quite a lot of yarn from GiddyYarns. Helen did an update, like a pre-order for Hobbit yarn. And I bought some. And then while I was on her website, I saw that she also had like mini skein packs from other Lord of the Rings themed like things that she's done. So I bought some of those as well. And then I saw that she had Stephen King minis. So I bought some of those too. So I bought lots of yarn. And I'm going to be picking it all up at East Anglia Yarn Fest at the end of the month. And so I'm so excited, but there's a lot of yarn. So I thought I'll buy myself a tote bag for East Anglia Yarn Fest. And I thought, oh, haha, I'll buy myself a bag of holding from some geeky website that I found, and that'll be hilarious. And it'll be great because I'll have like space in there for all the yarn that I'm gonna buy and all the yarn that I'm picking up. And it arrived yesterday, and well, let's just say I hope it does actually have magical properties because it's quite diddy. So yeah, I don't think that I would even be able to get all of the yarn that I have bought from GiddyYarns in this bag. So there we go. Maybe it will encourage me not to buy lots of yarn, but but we'll see, won't we? Yeah, I should have read the dimensions and I didn't, but there we go. So that's my amusing bag for, maybe I could just, this might hold all the things I intend to buy from a corner of craft, the corner of craft. So maybe it can just be my corner of craft bag of holding, but there we go. We'll see, won't we? So yeah, that's that. I'm really excited about getting my Stephen King minis. There are 7 minis and I can't remember what they all are, but I have read 2 of the books, and so I've kind of decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to make probably a would this work? Oh, they're 10-gram minis, I think. I might have to rethink this. I wanted to make a blanket that sort of catalogued the order that I read the books in. So like a reading journal in blanket form. But if there's only 70 grams, it's going to be a little bit of a small blanket. So I might have to just rethink that. That's fine. Just take some consideration. But anyway, that was my plan. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to rethink that. Unless I do stripes, so I could find a contrasting colour to go between them, which could work. That might work, actually. Because I thought I'd ordered the 20-gram minis, but when I looked back, I think I only got the 10-gram minis. But if I do, yeah, I might do stripes in between. So then it could just be, and it doesn't have to be a huge blanket, just be like a small, more of a record of my reading of Stephen King rather than a proper sort of blanket to go on the bed or whatever. So yeah, which leads me nicely into books. I'll talk about books a little bit. So that's all the knitting content. So if you're not interested in anything else, then thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again next time. But if you'd like to hear a little bit about books, very briefly, and also about some other acquisitions that I got that are not knitting related acquisitions, then stick around. So I did buy another Stephen King book, The Institute. This is not one of the colourways that's in the GiddyYarns mini pack. So they're kind of like, so part of me is just like, well, I'm just going to have to put this away and not read it because it's not included in the mini pack. So if I couldn't put it in my blanket, but I don't know, I'll probably read it anyway. So yeah, that just sounded really interesting. Let me know if you've read this one, let me know what you think. And then the other book was a graphic novel that my mum bought for me called Monstrous. Well, it's a trade paperback technically, so the first, I don't know how many editions of comic volume 1. But the like, what am I saying? The art is really, I really like the artwork. Have you read it? Let me know what you think. I've not read it yet, so I'm excited to give that a read. I was sold by the first line in the sort of like info on the back, which was set in an alternate world of Art Deco beauty and steampunk horror. Sounded appealing to me. So those are 2 books that I have received. And then I've just started reading The Black Witch by Laurie Forest, which is a book that it's available on Kindle Unlimited. So that was great, because I've been buying a lot of books recently and then reading like the first little bit and being like, not really in the mood for this. So it was quite cool to actually get to use my Kindle Unlimited membership. And this is a book that Lindsay of Sock Witchery mentioned on her last podcast. It's a trilogy, I think, and they're all out. And I think this is something that I have learned about myself recently, is that I can't really read series like as they're going along, because the information about the book doesn't stay in my brain. So I can read a book and if I move straight into the next book, then I can remember everything that happened in the previous book. That's fine. But like last year I read the first 2 books from the Bridge Kingdom series, and then the 3rd book came out like just a few months later after I'd finished the 2nd one, and I can't remember anything about the first 2 books, like nothing important. Like I can't remember who the characters are or anything like that. And I don't really want to read like a synopsis, but I probably will eventually. But yeah, that's just something that I've kind of learned about myself. Once I finished a book, the information doesn't really stay in my head. So I kind of, I need books. I'm going to wait for series to be finished and then I'm going to read them like all together. So that's fine. It's just a quirk of me, I guess. So yeah, I'm enjoying The Black Witch. I'm like 3 chapters in. Like I said last time, I think I'm not getting as much reading time as I used to, just because of when I was fitting it in previously, when I was like putting my children to bed. I don't have that block of time now because my children don't take as long to put to bed as they did last year. So yeah, I get like maybe 10 or 15 minutes of reading time in the evening if I like get to reading straight away. So I've been saying about sitting in a cold warehouse on Friday. That is for, I think I mentioned last time that I had a piece in an exhibition, a lino print in an exhibition, and that the exhibition is on this week. So it started Sunday or Saturday. I think it started Sunday. I think it was supposed to start Saturday, but they had some issues with like getting things printed, like the tags. So I think they didn't open Saturday so that they could start putting those out, and then it was ready on Sunday. So I went to the private view. Me and Andrew went to the private view on Saturday night, which was fun, but I always find that really overwhelming. So yeah, I think I managed to stick it out for longer than I usually do. Usually I just sort of stand around really awkwardly for a while and then leave. But this time I sort of wandered, and I now know a couple of people in the sort of art community of Norwich. So I like had some people to chat to, which was quite nice. And I like recognised some other names of other artists, which was also quite nice. So yeah, it was a good experience, and I like saw some people like looking at my art and talking about it. I was like, run away. I don't want you to talk about my art while I'm nearby in case you don't say anything nice. So yeah, and then yeah, so then there on Friday just to be an extra body, invigilating. So it's going to be cold. It is a warehouse. There is no heating and it's all single glazed windows, some of which are probably broken. It's freezing. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can finish this cowl so I have something warm to wear. That is it. I have nothing else to say and my throat is getting super sore. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely week and I will see you next time. Bye.